Have you ever felt the weight of the world crushing you to the point that you feel broken? Do you feel torn down and exhausted by all the issues you can't control? Most men can't help but feel defeated by the pressure of it all. But what exactly is defeating you? Every person has a different idea of what being defeated is. The ancient Stoics left us a whole ideology of wisdom that teaches us how to become undefeated and unconquerable. They believed that people could not be conquered by something external, as long as they didn't give up the power of their core values and facilities. The only way external things can defeat us is if we let them. So next time you feel overwhelmed and crushed by the world's weight or your problems, remember, it's only defeating you because you are allowing it to. We must first learn to conquer ourselves. Then we can never lose. This video will explore the Stoic ways of becoming undefeated and unconquered. I challenge you to watch this video all the way through, and I promise that by the end, you will never see defeat the same again. The amount of value we assign to external things and issues will be its influence over us, not the thing itself. If we give a high value to something, there is a risk of developing a desire for it. When we acquire it, we feel happy and satisfied. The feeling of accomplishment is great. But when we somehow don't get what we want or don't reach our goal, that's when we feel defeated. We have that feeling because we put our emotional state at the mercy of outside circumstances. For example, let's say you see someone you like and you arrange a date with that person. Most people will become excited or anxious about it. If that person so happens to cancel for whatever reason at the last minute, your mood would change. Excitement will go away, and you will no longer be anxious, and those feelings will be replaced with others like disappointment and, in some cases, anger. Even though rejection, rescheduling, and even ghosting are all part of dating, we can't help but react to it the way we see fit. This is normal human behavior, but it can become toxic to yourself if you let it consume you. This is because people place a high value on dating, and when we don't get our way or what we desire, we let that influence our actions, and we lose ourselves. Insulting is another example. If we let insults bother us to the point it affects our mental state, we have allowed those words to defeat us. The Stoic way to handle this type of situation is to be comfortable with who you are and not what someone says you are. So when someone rejects you or tries to insult you, you will know that it comes from their insecurities and not yours. Confidence is the source of the power you need to stay undefeated. The Stoic philosophy teaches you to be mentally strong as well as confident because, as a man, your mental state will constantly be tested. Blackmail or leverage is a way that someone could try to test your mental state and defeat you. The only way leverage can be used against you is if you value your reputation or the view of how people see your reputation. Again, this is all dependent on how much value you put on it. To be clear, your reputation does matter as long as you place value on your morals and core structures rather than how others see you. It won't matter what others think. Your past actions will speak for themselves, and no one can blackmail you because you hold the power over yourself, not them. Even in such extreme cases as physical pain or torture, you have a choice. They may break your body, your hands, or your feet. But as long as you're not broken mentally, you are never conquered. One person's ability to choose can never be taken away. In every situation, no matter how terrible, you have a choice to maintain power over yourself and your mentality, or submit to the circumstances. In the recovery community, they have a similar structure to their methods. They have what's called the serenity prayer. It asks God to grant them the serenity to accept the things they cannot change, the courage to change the things they can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The parallels are very similar because in Stoicism, we must recognize what we can and can't control, and do what is best for ourselves, because time spent on things we can't control is time wasted that could have been spent on things we can. It all comes back to what you give value to and how much power you allow over you. No one has power over you unless you give it to them. Protect your mind to remain unconquerable. What matters are our actions, and no one can control them but us. To become truly undefeated, you have to be willing to walk through the fire. Being a man requires a lot of mental suffering. You need to prepare to endure that pain at any given time. People will try and tempt you by offering what you desire to get what they want, and trick you into throwing your morals out the window. One example of this is Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and philosopher that survived 3 years in several Nazi concentration camps. In his book, Searching for Meaning, he describes how the Jewish prisoners became helpers of the prison guards by doing terrible things to their own people in exchange for food and better treatment. Frankl noticed how easily people succumb to harsh circumstances and do anything to survive, including betrayal and harsh treatment of others. But he also wrote about the people who didn't submit to their circumstances, the people who didn't value food or better commendations over their own morals. The Nazi tortured, beat, and starved these people. But the one thing they could never do to them was conquer them. The Stoics believe that hardship is not the actual problem. It's the willingness to submit to them under pressure. Hardships are inevitable. We are made to carry burdens and have to earn by the sweat of our brow. The sooner you accept that concept as a part of life, the sooner you will understand Stoicism. In conclusion, part of the Stoic philosophy is realizing that the only prison you can ever be in is the one you put yourself in. And the things you place the most value on is what is going to put you there. Sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes it's not. To relate that to today means to stop putting a lot of value on the materialistic and insignificant things in life that don't matter. The Stoics knew this is no easy task. But that's why Stoicism isn't for everyone. Changing the way you see things is just half the battle. Learning to endure the pain that comes from that hardship is the hardest part. Most people are defeated by that part alone. You have to have the mental strength to not succumb to your desires and keep your morals and value your main focus. If you can get to that point, I promise you will never be defeated or conquered ever again. If you found the information in this video helpful in any way, like, share, and comment to boost this video out to the algorithm. Share your ideas and lived experiences in the comments so we can all discuss them together. The information we share here is information I wish I had known a lot sooner. So we are passing on what we know and have learned throughout our lives in hopes that it can benefit the younger generation. So till the next video, take care.